1.4. Fire when ready. Dead center. Right on top of it. 2405. Stand by. Favor slight left. Give me a little bit less left hold. Dead center. All right, 507. All right, you're the low left leg on that X. Give me a 0.1 higher. Slightly less left hold. Dead center. All right, let's go to 530. That's going to be the guy with the diamond on the center of his chest. Left of center. Got it? You hit the left corner of that diamond. Give me a little bit less left hold. Dead center. Dead center. 608. Stand by. Dead center. See it. Give me one more. Look right on top of that last shot. Give me one more. Oh, stretch that. It was right edge of the box. We do have a little tiny bit of wind picking up left to right. Favor left edge of the box. That one look more center. All right.
Well guys, LocsNLoad Firearm Review is here today. Alright guys, we're here to talk about my precision rifle, my long range gun, my sniper rifle. Right? So the gun that I look to reach out and touch things. So this gun has multiple purposes, like most of my guns, because I don't have a lot of guns like I used to no more. I just keep a select few that serve a variety of purposes, so they're multifunctional. And so today we're going to talk about this build here and why I built it, and just some of my thoughts, and for people looking to build a rifle like this. So starting off the bat, this is a AR10 styled rifle, and it fires the 7.62 by 51 projectile, or commonly known as 308. All right, so these right here are what I mainly shoot out of this gun, pretty much exclusively what I shoot out of this gun, because it's a precision gun. It's meant to shoot small groups at distance, and so I want to use really good and accurate ammo. So I'm using Federal Gold Medal Match, my bad, 175 grain, and so I've had amazing results with this ammunition. I've gotten really small groups. I've gotten really consistent hits, even out the distance, shooting out to 600 yards. When I did the competition, which I'll talk about, it went out to 800. And so today we're going to go over this rifle, and we'll start with the parts list. We'll go ahead and get that out of the way, and we'll talk about it. So coming up front, right here on the front, I went with a muzzle brake. So the main purpose of this gun is a competition rifle. This is meant to, for competition. The secondary purpose of this rifle is a hunting rifle. It's 308, and with the barrel and everything, is definitely capable for a hunting rifle, and it's honestly not that heavy. I thought it'd be a lot heavier, a lot bigger than what it is, but it's actually not that bad. All right, so coming back here, we have a muzzle brake that is by Yankee Hill Machine, and so I went with this muzzle brake because I have a full-size Resonator 2 suppressor in jail. Come on, ATF, it's been months. And so when I get that, I'm gonna have it on this rifle to suppress it. Now, I'm probably not gonna have it suppressed during competitions, but when I do certain training, or especially when I go hunting, I probably might want to have that suppressor on there, just so the gun's not as loud. So that's why I want that specific muzzle device. One, so I'm attaching a suppressor to it, and two, it's a muzzle brake, so it's going to mitigate that recoil. Granted, it's going to be loud as hell, and it is loud as hell, especially during that competition. If you're shooting in those like raised shooting platforms where you got the roof and the walls, so it's kind of enclosed in there a little bit. Holy hell, this thing is loud. Like my ears were literally ringing for like 3 days after that competition. But it really does a good job of mitigating that recoil. It feels just like a little bit stronger than an AR-15, but it's still very doable. Like I'm able to get behind the gun, fire my rounds, and while looking through the scope, I can see my hits. So it's very doable. So for a 308, you know, again, you're definitely gonna want a muzzle brake on a 308. Now, what I have this muzzle brake attached to is really one of I think the top 3 things you need on a precision gun. Barrel, optic, trigger. So I went with like one of the best barrels I could get that's not too expensive, because for the longest I was dabbling between going with a ballistic advantage, but you know, doing my research, you know, especially with Keith, he had kind of pushed me to go, you know, a step higher than ballistic advantage. So either Criterion or I forgot the other barrel. It'll probably come to me later. Not the carbon fiber one, but I'll think of it later. But Criterion was the one I kind of went with. I saw a lot of good reviews, and the price of it seemed to fit my budget at the time. So I went with the Criterion 20-inch 308 M118 LR stainless steel barrel. So 20 inches, so it gets a really good powder burn off that 308, and it is made, so if you look at the barrel, it's really stamped up here, Criterion 308 M118 LR, you know, 1-11, because it's a 1 in 11 twist rate, but it's specifically made for the M118 LR round, which is a military round that they use for their snipers. So it's a 175 grain projectile, so it's specifically made for a 175 grain 308 projectile. So that's why I'm using the Federal 175 grain gold medal match, because it's, you know, the barrel's made basically for this type of round, and so that's why I'm getting such good performance out of this gun, because, you know, I'm using what it's made for. So that's why I went with that, because I knew I wanted to shoot this Federal ammunition, so I wanted a barrel that was kind of catered to it. And so far, I have no regrets about it. And if you want to do the same, I highly recommend it. But rifle length gas system on here. Coming up to the rail, you have a Aero Precision rail. So the rail, the upper, the lower is all Aero Precision. So is the barrel nut as well. So is the charging handle, Aero Precision. Because when I was building this 308, you know, 308s are not like AR-15s. If you know what you're doing, it can be easier, but AR-10s are finicky. Like, they have issues. Like, I built 2 AR-10s, and every time I've had to do some tinkering to it to get it to function, you know, the way it should do. Versus AR-15, you can really just slap all these type of parts and pieces together, and an AR-15 is really going to work together. As I get back to the rifle, I explain why. So if you're looking to build an AR-10, you're really going to want to take this into consideration. So anyway, the rail, the upper and the lower is all Aero Precision. Again, it's made for it, and I feel like it was the cheapest, most efficient and effective way to get into that AR-10 platform. You can literally go on Aero and buy a one piece. Well, I won't say necessarily one piece, but it's all made to go together, like a set. Upper, the lower, and the rail with the barrel nut. And so that's basically like the meat and bones of your AR-10. At that point, all you got to do is get the internals for the lower and the internals for the upper. Get you a barrel and a stock, and you basically got your gun. Of course, the bolt carrier as well, charging handle. But you basically have like the meat and potatoes of your AR-10. from one place, and it's all made to go together. And so if you're looking to get into the AR10 world, I highly recommend going Arrow M5. I know there's other and better manufacturers, but if you're looking for the best budget way to get into it, Arrow Precision is honestly the way to go. This is my second Arrow AR10. All right, so this bipod here. So certain competitions, you're going to either be prone or you might have to come off a barrier. So having a bipod is a great way to add stability to you in the rifle when you're shooting, so you can put rounds on target, right? Because you're shooting out to like 600, 700, 800 yards, and these targets are very small. And so you're going to need all the stability you can get. So sometimes you can use a shooting bag, sometimes you have to use your bipod, sometimes you have to use, like if you're like a wooden fence type, you can dig into this area and mount off that if you have to. But my bipod is a Harris bipod with the LaRue Tactical mount. So it's a collaboration between LaRue Tactical and Harris bipod, where they made this QD mount, and it's all one piece. So all I do is pull back on this, flip the lever, and my bipod comes off. And then I can put it back on here in the grooves, slap it, lock it, and it's on. So really love this bipod, this Harris bipod. Keith had like 2 of them. Eric has some. And a lot of the guys in Short Buzz have them. And it's just been a very good bipod, and it's not too expensive. It's not like an Atlas bipod that's like $200 plus. No, this was like, granted it was like close to 200, but that's because the bipod and QD mount is going to run you a little extra than just the Harris bipod. But it's still cheaper than Atlas bipod, and it has that quick detach feature. And then the Atlas ones, they have notches, so you have to hit a button to get your legs down. You can quickly deploy your legs if you need to. You got notches to extend or retract them. You got a little tilt feature. I forgot what it's called. Can to it, but it allows just some freedom of movement right here if you have to shift. But this one doesn't have the little turning feature where you can kind of turn with it. I didn't really need all that, but I did want everything like this, the tilt feature. So very good bipod, not too expensive. It's honestly one of those buy once, cry once purchases. Get like a really good bipod that you know is going to work and get the job done, but it's not too expensive, right? So Harris bipod for the win. Magazines, empty. Magpul 20 round magazines. Now I was going to get the 25 rounders like I did with my last AR. But Keith did bring up a good point that if I'm using this competition, you do want to get as low as you possibly get to the ground. So the 20 rounders, just go with those. So Magpul magazines. Everyone who's been in this gun world for a while knows that Magpul magazines are really one of the go-to mags. So they're like just one of those mags you honestly just buy, rip out the plastic, and you just throw in your collection because you just know that they have that much of a reliability. It's like a Glock. But still, test your magazines. Don't get me wrong. Test your magazines, make sure they work. But I'm just saying, they're very reliable magazines. That's why the military, especially Marines, are using Magpul magazines. All right, on top. Now, the second most important thing about building a precision gun, whether it's 308, 6.5, 6 arc, 300 Win Mag, 338 Lapua, even 5.56, even if you're shooting 22 long rifle, the optic. Now, people can debate what's more important, the optic or the barrel, right? Being able to see something or being able to hit it. Which is more important? Well, if you can't see it, you can't hit it. But if you can see it and the barrel's not accurate and you can't hit it, it does you no good. So, big debate between which is more important, which came first, the chicken or the egg. But I say the top 2 most important things you need to do with your precision gun when you're buying it or building it, make sure you have a really good barrel, a really good accurate barrel, and a really good, solid, and clear optic. Now, this optic here is the AR10 6-24 power SH4J Gen 2. So this has a 50mm objective lens, and I like this because the primary arms one I used to have, the objective lens was like a 40 something, and so when I use Eric's AR10, because he was a big fan of AR10, for the longest I was like, nah, I'm going primary arms. But then I compared my 4-16 primary arms versus his AR10 4-16, and with his larger objective lens, because his 4-16 still has that 50mm objective lens, which is this part of the optic right here, was bigger, so he was able to see clear. I was able to see clear through his optic targets at the same distance versus my primary arms 4-16. And that's because of that larger objective lens was able to gather in more light and make the image better, easier to see, and clearer to see. And two, versus primary arms using, I think, like Filipino glass, AR10 is using Japanese glass. And that Japanese glass is what those high tier like Night Force and all those guys are. Those guys are using Japanese glass, and it's because like it's really top tier. So Japanese glass like versus like that Filipino glass, Japanese glass wins every time. And so after doing that little test on the range, I honestly became an AR10 fan after that. I went out and I purchased this 6-24 for my 308, and it's honestly been a perfect match for this gun. I can see really far. I have the parallax adjustment, so if I'm looking at target at 100 yards, I can dial in and make that image clearer, or 300, 500, or etc. With this larger objective lens, I'm able to see targets further with more detail than that primary arms. So honestly, and also one thing I love about it, it's cheaper than primary arms. Guess how much I paid for this optic? If you think more than $500, you're wrong. I paid probably $400 something for this optic. And a lot of times AR10 has deals where you can get this optic for like $300 something, right? And so like when you're looking at that, you get a 4-16 for $300 or even $200 something on a sale, and it's using Japanese glass. You have the zero stop, which I explain in a second, but all these features, you know, I got the throw knob with it. I bought the AR10 rings for the optic. And so again, like I said, parallax, it has illumination. You got your windage, and they also have the up and down, your elevation. Now I was talking about zero stop. So this allows, let's say, you know, if I'm going somewhere and I change my dope, right? Like let's say I change my dope to something else. Well, if I want to get back to my original zeroing, so I can do all this I want, all I gotta do is spin all the way back to where it stops, right back at zero, and I know I'm back at my original zero. So that's what the zero stop allows you to do. It allows you to still, you know, do all your, really, if someone come by and mess with your knob here, and you know, it'd be a little annoying, but all you gotta do is just spin it back to where it says zero, and you're back where you had your gun zeroed. So really good feature. And also they have screws on the side. Just let's say no, you've got this brand new out of the box. It's not gonna be, your zero's not gonna be on point. So you're gonna have to, you know, turn the knob and get it. Let's say it might be 5.7 mils, right, high, and you're 3.5 mils right. Well, you don't want to leave your optic on there. You have to always remember, okay, 5.7. So what you do is take these screws out on the side, you take the turret out actually, and you go all the way down to zero, put it back down, tighten down your screws, and now with that zero stop, you can do all these turns and everything again, redial if you need to, and still go back to your original zero that you know spent all day getting. So one of the features that if you're looking for a solid, robust, go-to optic, make sure it has that zero stop and the ability to, you know, take the turrets off, to slip your turrets. That's what it's called, slip your turrets. Where you can take this turret off, go to zero, put it back down, put your screws back, set your zero stop, and so you don't lose your zero. So if in any case it got bumped or somebody messed with it, or you went to some different location that had to add because let's say the wind was more that day than any other day, so now you got to adjust your windage. Well, when you're done with that day, you want to go back to original setting, just go to 0 and you're back to your original setting. Alright, I feel like I got really long-winded on that, but that's what a good optic does. So Arkin 6-24 optic, good to go on this rifle. Alright, now to the upper and lower what I was talking about. So unlike an AR-15 where you can literally go out and get a Anderson lower and a Geisley upper and they'll work. You can go out and get a Ruger lower and get a Bravo Company upper and they'll work. You get a Bravo Company lower and an Anderson or Bear Creek upper and put them together and they'll work. Those are AR-15s. AR-10s do not work like that. And that comes from, I guess, going back in the past when Eugene Stoner made his original design. He had his patented layout, and then I guess it was a DPMS made their own style of the AR-10. So there's basically two different AR-10 lowers and two different style AR-10 uppers. So you go out and buy, oh, this is AR-10 lower, right? Somebody says LR-10 lower, and you think, okay, it's an AR-10. You go out and buy that, and you buy this Arrow upper, and you think, well, this is an AR-10. It should match like AR-15, and they don't match because Arrow uses a DPMS style AR-10 upper and lower, whereas in some other companies, they may use an LR or like the Armalite version of the AR-10. So that's one thing. If you're looking to build an AR-10, make sure that if you're up the upper like receiver you're looking at says I like this upper receiver and it's a DPMS style, make sure the lower you buy is a DPMS style. Right? So make sure you don't get those confused because you're gonna be mad when you buy one lower and the upper and they don't match. And you're gonna be like, what the hell? So that's why I went back and saying Arrow, that's why I like Arrow, because they have the matching lower, matching upper, and the matching rail. So the meat and potatoes of that is all good. So you don't have to worry about is it going to match. You know it matches because they're literally designed coming from the same company to work together. So that's why I tell people if you're looking to go down this road, just make sure you buy. It doesn't have to be Arrow, but make sure you buy your upper and lower together as a set so you can really skip that issue altogether. All right, moving along. So, bolt carrier, another important part of your rifle, but it's very important. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as important as the barrel or the optic or the trigger. But it's like the fourth most important thing because you need it to really cycle and feed and maintain well, right? So having a good bolt carrier is something you need. Now, what I kind of did. Eric talked me into it because I was going to get like a really I forgot who made it. I think it was JP Enterprise bolt carrier, and it's like $300 something. But it's like, you know, like you got some fucking balls like bolt carrier. But like Eric brought up to me, you know, the Tribe Defense bolt carrier that was on Optics Planet had good reviews by people, and it was like $80-$90. And he was saying that even though the JP is really good bolt carrier, if this bolt carrier I buy works out and it handles well and I have no issues with it, it is cheaper to buy 2 or even 3 of these Tribe Defense bolt carriers versus that one JP Enterprise bolt carrier, which eventually will break because, you know, all things break, especially with use. So if you're going to I'm going to use it for competition. Like, granted, it's going to work for a while. But eventually it's going to break, and it's like, do I want to buy another $300 something bolt carrier, or would it be better to buy 3 bolt carriers at $80-$90 a pop, and that way if one goes down, I can just slap another one in and keep going. So I went with that logic, and this is the Tribe Defense bolt carrier, and as of right now, I had no issue. So it's looking like what Eric came up with is working and was a good idea. And so time will tell. bolt carrier, I mean not bolt carrier, the charging handle is an Aero Precision AR10 charging handle. Again, I know AR10s are finicky, so when I'm buying a lot of building AR10, I like to try to keep everything as compatible as possible, and Aero Precision just does that, I think, better than a lot of other companies when it comes to building an AR10. Now, if you're looking to buy like a complete rifle, then yes, okay, these other companies are going to be better. But that's going to, you know, that's up to you. I like to build. So if you're going to build an AR10, you know, keeping all your parts like Aero Precision rail, Aero Precision upper, Aero Precision lower, Aero Precision charging handle. If they have a bolt carrier, Aero, then, you know, maybe an AR10 bolt carrier wouldn't be that bad. You know, just keeping everything in-house is as compatible as possible. Just makes it that much easier to build your rifle and that much easier for your rifle to function properly. Okay. I forgot where I got the lower parts kit because actually I got the lower parts kit for Aero. That's right. So Aero Precision lower parts kit. Why not? Same with the upper. The upper though was completed by Aero, so it's got Aero Precision upper parts, but it was just made in-house by Aero. Trigger. The trigger, again, like I said, one of the top 3 most important things that you can have. Like, you can never check your safety watch. Is one of the top 3 most important things that you can have. So one and two we can debate, but it's either barrel, optic, and number 3 is definitely trigger. Right, having a very good trigger aids in pinpoint accuracy, and having a Geisley SSAE trigger, perfect, absolutely perfect for this rifle. This trigger has it's a 2-stage, so as you can see, you can have that little take up, and then if you you get your good positioning, you get your good point of aim, you say I want to break that shot. It's smooth as butter. I love this Geisley SSAE trigger. I'm hands down my favorite trigger out there on the market, SSAE. And with this trigger and this gun, yeah, it's like money, bro. I love it. It's a very good combination with this gun. Sling is a Blue Forest tactical sling. Honestly, I had it laying around in storage, not being used. And it's padded, and with this kind of hefty girl, having that padded sling, I was like, okay, yeah. So I just threw it on here, and so it's on there. The stock, Fab Defense Wraps stock, RAPS. So made by, like I said, Fab Defense, and so it has an adjustable cheek weld, adjustable shoulder length. Nice little notch area, so you got to lock your hand in here for good positioning. And it's got this nice thick areas to grab onto. It's got a rubber pad to really sink into your shoulder, and it's got a little thing down here that'll poke. I forgot what it's called, almost like a little monopod. Like if you're looking for a little stability or something. At the bottom, QD slings, points on here, and yeah, that's about it. So, alright, so that's the part list of the gun. So Locs, you said, why did you build this gun, and we'll go over that. So, 2 reasons I built this gun. 1 was for competition, and 2 was for hunting. So we'll talk competition. I've done some competition throughout the years, not anything real too heavy like USPA or anything, but maybe in the future I might want to, but I've been looking to do long range competition, because long range shooting has always been an interest of mine, even as a kid. That sniper, right? Granted, I'm not a sniper, never been to sniper school, so I don't call myself a sniper. But it's just watching sniper movies, playing sniper in video games. The ability to be a lone gunman and engage a target out the distance and be unknown. That's just one of the things I always was enthused with, and so I wanted to find a way to kind of push my skills at shooting targets at the distance, and so getting into competition was a good way to do that. I had my first one not too long ago, like June, July. I stunk, don't get me wrong, I was straight ass, I didn't pass a single match, and it was a little embarrassing, but it is what it is. I mean, at least I didn't come in last. I was third from last, but I was not last. So there's that. But it was a good eye opener to me. That really showed me that one of the things I need to do when I go to these competition matches, and if you're looking to get a long range competition, show up early so you can zero your gun at that particular range. Because you might have to go, let's say you're in Jacksonville, you might zero your gun in Jacksonville, but the competition you're going to might be in North Carolina. And so the environments and atmospheres you're going from and to, your zero is going to change, and you need to change your zero based on the environment. And so if you're getting to competition, make sure you have enough ammunition for the competition and enough ammunition to zero your gun and go out there. If you can, I don't know if every competition is the same, but if you go out there, if you can go out there and zero your gun, go out there early, zero your gun, engage those targets at this distance and in different positions so you can kind of find, all right, where do I need to be before the competition, so you're not like me, where you have your dope card from Jacksonville back home the way you zeroed, and now your zero at the competition is not lining up, and now you got to figure that shit out on the fly under the clock, and you're just slinging $1 per round type ammunition downrange, not hitting shit, or maybe you hit shit, you never know. And so that was a good eye opener for me. It was still very interesting. I didn't do the best, but being able to see that I can engage targets out to 600, 700, 800 yards with like precision and consistency, even with this gun I built, that was encouraging to me personally. They'd be like, damn, there's people with like these multi-$1,000 guns, and I'm still able to, with this gun that's under $1,700. And so with this gun, I'm able to match that type of performance that they have. Makes me feel really good. It's like, why, like, what I want to do is take this gun against my buddy Josh, who's got like a $10,000+ nice armament, AR10, and see how much more accurate his is, or see if my gun is more accurate than his, or the accuracy is the same, to see if you really can, buy that type of performance. This $10,000 rifle really get you anything. So that's competition, just something to do to push my skills, and it's always been something I wanted to do. And hunting, now definitely I'm about to like put out my bid. If you got hogs on your land, that me and Short Bus can bring our guns and hunt those hogs down, or coyotes, or whatever varmints we can shoot freely on your property, like I'm about to say, like, hit us up. Because if I can find someone, especially here in Florida near Jacksonville, that's got hogs on our land, and yes, this gun is waiting to catch a body, right? It's ready to put something in the dirt, right? Send something up there to the upper realm, right? So, yeah, hit me up if you about that. But definitely hunting, and with 308, you can honestly take down any game in North America. So it's a gun I can use not outside of the competition, and it's also just very, very versatile. So I really like this gun. It's definitely one of my top 3 favorites. Just like the quote says, only accurate guns are interesting, and this gun is very interesting. So. Considerations for you guys before I sign out. Like I said, if you're trying to build an AR10, make sure you get a matching upper and lower set. If you want, let's say, okay, barrels. Do I have to spend, $8, $9? No, you don't. Criterion barrels are like $300-400. And for the performance I've had, if you talk to a lot of people, Criterion barrels are good to go. I keep forgetting the other company that he had mentioned. Like, he's really eating me up now, because it was like between those two. Maybe he'll keep putting in the comments. So read the comments and Keith will let you know. Barrel length. Now, if you're going for competition, now a 16-inch AR-10 will go 1,000 yards easily. A 20-inch. I went with 20-inch because I wanted that full powder burn in there, and it's kind of, I was basically basing it off what the military was using and doing, because again, I didn't know where to go. It was either 20 or 16, and so for competition, I was like, who knows? I might be at this range that goes to 800, but I might go to this range that goes to 1200. So I want all the velocity I could possibly get reasonably without it being too stupid long, because again, I was going to have it suppressed as well. So 20-inch was where I went with, and especially watching people on YouTube go like 1,200 yards with consistency, I was like, okay, yeah, 20 inches, we're good, we'll go with that. So, all in all, one of my better builds. Collaboration with Keith Mosley. Thank you, Keith. But again, one of my better builds. I would say honestly one of my top 3 rifles. It's definitely one of those guns. If I had to bug out with with my Everly stock backpack that I can slip it in the back end, this would be one of the guns. If I had to bug out, I take with me. Now, what I take, the other rifle is between my 11.5 or my 13.9, which I'm going to start rebuilding out. And those two are going to be in competition for that #1 spot. But as far as that #2 gun, yeah, this gun is pretty locked in right now. And yeah. So again, thank you guys. If you stayed this long to listen to me ramble, I don't know why you do that, but thank you for doing that. If you like what you saw and you want to support the channel, I'm going to have links in the description box where you can either donate to the channel or you can sign up and take a firearm class with us here in Jacksonville, Florida. So, on top of that, guys, I want to thank you for watching the video. Stay educated, stay dangerous. LocsNLoad out.